Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. Last week we discussed Genndy Tartakovsky's comments on Primal Season 3 and when it could possibly be coming. Card above to that video if you haven't seen it yet. But in that same interview that he did with Collider, Genndy also talked about the possibility of a Sym-Bionic Titan revival series and whether or not that's something that could happen in the near future or not. So the question was asked to Genndy, will you be releasing the 10 written scripts for Sym-Bionic Titan online if the show does not return? Also, since Sym-Bionic Titan came back to Netflix a few years ago, is there any way for the show to return on streaming? Genndy responded saying, I kind of want to release the scripts, but at the same time, I'm sure there's still an outside chance that maybe we could do it again, but there's got to be a bigger demand. When Sym-Bionic Titan was on Netflix, it didn't get the audience for them to be like, we should make more of this. I think that needs to happen for somebody to pay for it. I don't know how to do that quite yet because they don't advertise. It just kind of pops up and that's it. So it's real hard, but I'm always open to do more, but there's gotta be demand. I know there's a fan base that wants more, but it has to be enough for somebody to want to pay for it. These are some interesting comments here from Genndy because we all know Sym-Bionic Titan got canceled rather early on in the life of the series because they couldn't get a toy line license for it, which is the dumbest reason in the world to cancel a show that's not only having critical success, but it was doing well ratings wise as well at the time. And we all know that Genndy has said in the past that yeah, the second set of episodes were going to be even better than the first season's episodes and he wants to make more of it, but at the end of the day, as Genndy has indicated in this statement, unfortunately someone at the network, someone at Warner Brothers Discovery is going to have to want to make more of this show. Genndy just can't poof and snap his fingers and all of a sudden $10 million he has to make Sym-Bionic Titan Season 2. Somebody has to give him that money and someone has to greenlight this show. This is very similar to some comments that he made a few years back saying that he needs our help to make Sym-Bionic Titan Season 2 happen. I'll leave a card above to that video if you haven't seen it. But at the end of the day, that's what needs to be done. The people who are fans of this series need to be vocal online and say, hey, Cartoon Network, hey, Warner Brothers Discovery, hey, Adult Swim, because let's be real, it would probably come back on Adult Swim. We want to see more of this series. We loved Sym-Bionic Titan when it was on, what, at this point, 13, 14 years ago. We would love to see it have a triumphant return to Adult Swim, but at the end of the day, I think the problem here is that there's not a big enough fan base for this series to be vocal enough to get the attention of Warner Brothers Discovery. Don't get me wrong, I love Sym-Bionic Titan. I watched it from start to finish for the first time in the late 2010s. I absolutely love the series and think it's one of the better Cartoon Network shows to come out of that era. But at the end of the day, it's not a show that has this mass appeal to it. It's not a show that has a big of a fan base as something like Ben 10, right? The Ben 10 community has been very vocal over the past few years, saying that we want to return to the original continuity, we want to bring back classic Ben, we want an action-oriented series that's much more serious than what we got with the Ben 10 reboot. The fan base for Sym-Bionic Titan, unfortunately, is not as vocal and not as big as the Ben 10 fan base, so that's where the problem lies today, and that's why a Sym-Bionic Titan revival, unfortunately, is more unlikely than not right now. Genndy said there's always an outside chance of it happening, but there has to be more of a push for it. And the only way for that to happen is for the community, for us to be more vocal that we want to see more of this show. Get the hashtag bring back Sym-Bionic Titan going or save Sym-Bionic Titan, something along those lines. Get it trending on Twitter, get it trending on other social media platforms to get the attention of the executives at Warner Brothers Discovery. The other thing that Genndy mentioned as well that was asked by the interviewer is that this series was on Netflix, right? The series was on Netflix for some time. I don't have Netflix personally. I don't know how long it was on the service for, but nevertheless, Genndy said that it didn't exactly do that well while it was on Netflix. That's a big piece of the puzzle too. If you guys recall, Avatar The Last Airbender was added to Netflix a few years back and it did so well, it had so much critical acclaim to it, so many eyes were on the series on Netflix that Paramount straight up decided, hey, we should make a new studio, Avatar Studios, and we should bring back this franchise. I know we did The Legend of Korra, that was a sequel to Avatar The Last Airbender, but we should do another sequel series in Avatar 7 Havens. If you don't know what I'm talking about, card above to that video. We should make a movie in Aang The Last Airbender. We should try to have a movie every single year and a show every single year for Avatar because this series is huge. There's a lot of interest in it, and that's what needed to happen to Sym-Bionic Titan when it was on Netflix, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. As Genndy indicated in his answer in the interview, it wasn't exactly advertised that this show was coming to Netflix, right? So people have to dig through Netflix to find this series, and as I said before, unfortunately, the fact of the matter is, Sym-Bionic Titan is not a huge series. It doesn't have this mass appeal to it. It's not something that when it gets added to Netflix, there's going to be a rush of people going to see it. There will be a rush of people to watch Ben 10 when it's on a streaming service. There is a rush of people to watch Avatar when it's on a streaming service, but there isn't one for Sym-Bionic Titan, and that's where the problem lies. At the end of the day, when this series was on the air, it was at its infancy stages, right? It was doing well critically. People were watching the show, but it was trying to build a fan base, and unfortunately at that point in time, Cartoon Network pulled the plug on it while it was still building its fan base. So it doesn't have this grand fan base that Ben 10 does. It doesn't have this grand fan base that a show like Avatar The Last Airbender does, or Adventure Time, or a regular show, because Sym-Bionic Titan, unlike those other series I just mentioned, only had a 1-season run and only had 20 episodes and never got anything more than that. So there's not as big of a community for it. There's not as big of a fan base that's pulling for the show to come back. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, that's why we're sitting here today without a second season of Sym-Bionic Titan. Now, the elephant in the room here, the one question that needs to be answered is, do I think Sym-Bionic Titan will one day come back? I will never say never to anything, right? I will never say never to something happening. However, with Sym-Bionic Titan, I feel like in the late 2010s and in the early 2020s, I was saying how I think it's only a matter of time that this show comes back. You know, Genndy's back at Cartoon Network. He's back at Warner Brothers Discovery. He's working on Primal. He's working on Unicorn Wars Eternal. Obviously, he did Samurai Jack Season 5. So I felt like it was only a matter of time until we returned to the world of Sym-Bionic Titan. Again, it's a fantastic series. Genndy wants to do it. We want to see it. But at the end of the day, where the issue lies, as I've said multiple times in this video, there's not enough interest from a wider audience for a Sym-Bionic Titan Season 2. There is the fan base, there is the Cartoon Network community, this tight contingent group that does want to see a second season, but there needs to be more than that for this show to come back. And because of everything I just mentioned, unfortunately, at the end of the day, I do not think we're going to see a Sym-Bionic Titan Season 2, especially because of the state that Warner Brothers Discovery is in right now. If Warner Brothers Discovery was swimming in cash right now and they had all this like liquid cash that they could just throw at any other series they want to, then they would definitely do this. This is something I think they would explore, but at the end of the day right now, they are so risk averse, as is a lot of the media industry, because of the financial problems this industry has had, because a lot of these companies went headfirst into streaming, went into a lot of debt because of it, and are trying to recover from that debt. We know Disney's had problems with that. We know Paramount has had problems with that, and we know that Warner Brothers Discovery is having a huge problem with that. So because of the financial situation these companies are in, because of the lack of a wider interest for this series to return, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. And again, it's rather unfortunate because this is a fantastic series that got canceled way too soon. It should have had a bigger shot to really become a big franchise, but unfortunately, Cartoon Network was too hung up on the fact that they couldn't get a merchandise license for this series, so they pulled the plug on it when it was still in its infancy stage, trying to build a fan base, build a wider appeal to it, and unfortunately that never happened, and that's why we're in the situation that we are in today. This show is probably not going to come back anytime soon, if at all, because Warner Brothers Discovery just doesn't think it's worth it. They don't think it's worth the money. They think it's too risky of a move for them to do, whereas in my opinion, I think this show would do rather well nowadays. I think this show would do well on Adult Swim. Really, action shows, while they are coming back a little bit now, we're seeing a bit of a resurgence in action shows on TV in general, just animated action series. Like we got Unicorn Wars Eternal, obviously we have Primal, obviously there's, Maya vs. Superman, Batman Cape Crusader. These shows are coming back, and I think Sym-Bionic Titan would really add on to that and build upon that momentum, and I think it would be a great thing to see, but unfortunately, I really don't think it's happening anytime soon. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. What do you guys think about a potential return to Sym-Bionic Titan? Are you more optimistic on it than I am, and you think this is something that could happen in the near future? Or do you agree with me that this is something that's most likely not going to happen because of the issues within Warner Brothers Discovery and because of the issues that Genndy talked about in that interview? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.